Hello, this is John Speelman with the video version of my latest column, number 206. And I can see it's recording, which is a jolly good thing. So I'll show you the column, and then we can go through the games. So I've called it at the moment calculation without excessive genuflection. And the genuflection, the bending the knee, would be two engines. So it's about basically what's reasonable to see, I suppose. I'm not sure if I've really said very much about that. But that's what I was thinking about when I did this. And I've got four positions. The first one is one that was kindly shown to me by a guy I teach. It's from the second division of the 4NCL. And it says, after knight f3 check, king g3, pawn takes knight, white played bishop f6 check. Had black allowed a swindle, or was there a way to win? And we'll come to that in a minute. The second one is this game Kotkov-Dvoretsky. Probably that shouldn't be in bold, actually. I'm going to take that out of bold, because I don't normally have that in bold. In the names and the games. Let's put my light on for a second, then do Control B. Control S, and that is black wants to play rook b5 to get his king more centralized. And the question is, can white take that? Because he's going to go takes, and knight c3 check, and knight takes d5 check, presumably. And what happens in the ending then? Can black just win the knight and then somehow stop the white pawns, or is there something clever? There's a calculation which needs to be made. The third one is just a rather silly position which I made up. It's sort of apropos. There's a line of the Caro-Kann which ends with black having a queen, that white squared bishop and that knight, and white has queen and two bishops and very bad, an extra pawn, but very bad development. Obviously not in this position. And I just had this thought, this is quite a pretty position. Black to play and win. It's only a tiny little thing. And then I've got my game with Jonah Willow, which is the main feature this week. That was Jonah plays for Wood Green's second team, which is called Wood Green Youth. They're both in the first division of the 4NCL, and actually we have completely separate squads now. We didn't used to, but now we do. And the two teams had to play in the first round last Saturday, and had a very big fight with him. Very interesting game. He put up a lot of resistance when I got the advantage. I was very impressed. It was good for me, though, because I hadn't played a serious game for about 4 or 5 months, and so it got me into thinking about chess properly, and it's something you have to do in real time. There's nothing you can do about it, really. You just have to do it when you play chess. Okay, so I'm going to go now to the database, and I've put this down here, and we've got these four positions. So I did show you, in the previous one, before I show you that, there was the question in this last one, this last diagram, can you see how black can defend this position? It's obviously not at all pleasant. There's a way that the engine likes which I wouldn't have thought of, and I was impressed by this. So let's start here. I don't know anything about this game. I haven't even played through it before. I'm just playing through the moves very, very quickly. I'm a Caro player, but I'm not sure if I'm... well, okay. Black seems to have quite a decent position now. He's got the nice knight on d5, and he wins the exchange, which is very nice, and should be winning fairly easily. But he starts to mess up a bit. How did this all happen? That doesn't seem particularly bright. I don't know if you must have a better way to play than this, but still. I suppose this is all right. And here you could play e5, but he went check here, pawn takes knight. Now, I'll put it into replay training now. So I've shown this. So the question is, well, what does white do? If he goes h6, we can try h6. I think I've got that now. h6, e5 blocks the diagonal. King g4, rook... No, actually, rook h8 is better. New main line. King to there. And then you go e3. And then you take this pawn. And you go here. And the only way that white can actually stop this pawn from queening is to go e4 here. And then to go bishop c1. If you go bishop a3... that's worse because after, sorry, new variation, g2, bishop c5, you don't even have to take the bishop, you can just block. But if you go bishop c1, g3, bishop e3, and black can win any way he likes, but for instance, pawn equals queen, takes, king goes over. You don't even need to defend this. King to here, knight f3. And white can't get anywhere near this pawn, really. So, he's just completely lost. So you have to go bishop f6 check if we go back to the beginning. You go check, and the question is where black should put his king. And it looks normal to move towards the h-pawn. That's what happened in the game. King d7 is the better move. King e8, h6, king to there, here. Pawn equals queen, takes, here. I don't understand why he played bishop b2. There's no need. You can just go king g4 here. I mean, there's no real problem. For some reason he went here. Lost the tempo, actually. And he went king c4 and they agreed to draw. If you go knight takes bishop, so this is not my best version of this actually. Well, it wasn't. It's becoming my best version. Here. You just stay behind the pawn, and okay, nothing really happens. You can go to either square. e5, king to there, and eventually black can't get his pawn. If he goes e3 and e4, then white's slightly better. That's a draw. King to here with a draw. Or because you end up with no pawns each. So that's one line. So that's what happened. But you should go, in this position, you should go king d7, h6. And now, luckily, you just have time to do something terrible to white. So pawn to the rook to c8, h7. If you go bishop b2 to stop the rook, then you play e5. To block the diagonal, king g4, rook h8, king h5, e3 takes, rook takes pawn. And black's even the tempo ahead, that doesn't matter. So you can't do that, so you have to go h7, rook to there, and the thing is you're now threatening to mate. Pawn equals queen is the main line. Check here, checkmate. Very pretty final position. So that was that one. The second one is another calculation problem. The calculation problem is, we'll turn it round for black. Can black play rook b5? He did. So can you calculate what happens? Notice, by the way, that there's a passed h-pawn. You might imagine that white had a pawn on h4, in which case it would be a very different position. But the pawn's passed, so white can't defend passively or anything. He's definitely going to lose. So the line goes, rook takes rook, king takes... If he went rook a1 check, he lost quite easily. That's what happened. But rook takes rook, king takes rook, knight c3 check, king b4, knight takes pawn with check, king b3. Can try king c3, but I think probably h4 is enough, isn't it? And king b2 is also. h4, e6, h3, e7, takes, h2. It's going to be trivial, isn't it? So he tries e6, c3. Got to give up the knight. King takes, pawn to there. Can black stop these two pawns? Well, it's difficult, actually, because there are two of them. And, of course, Dvoretsky had to calculate this when in the initial position. But he did find there's only one move of the 8 knight moves which wins. Everything else loses. And that move is... Have a look and see if you can see it. It's knight a5, 2 exclams, check here, and you stop the pawn. But not so easy to see knight a5 if we go back to the initial position. Okay for a very strong grandmaster, which Dvoretsky, even though he never got the title, obviously was, but not easy for most people, I think. Okay. That's that. Then we go to this, and this is just a silly, really silly problem, really. This is black to play and win. What's happening here? Oh, did I just go Control F? Control F, yeah. Sorry about that. I must have gone Control F in the wrong place. Right, so it's black to play and win. So and by the way, the G pawn isn't there, so the rook's on pre. So this is not a real position at all. You can imagine this being a position with the pawn still on G7, sort of. In which case, the line I want to play doesn't work. But you can't imagine it like this, because how did that G pawn go? And then the queen end up back on E2, or the bishop, or without the rook on G8. Anyway, starts knight F4, queen G4, and now the knight's got 2 squares it can mate on E2 and H3, and so you have to play one of the queen moves. If you go queen G5, then H3 defends. That's a shame. But you go queen H4, exclam, queen takes, or pawn takes, check, takes, check, and mates. So nothing very pretty, just a thought that occurred to me while I was thinking, there's this Caroline, as I said, that ends with black, I mean nothing like this, but black, the material balance is more or less as it is in the starting position, though black's still got a G pawn and white's got very bad development. Just occurred to me anyway. So, Control R. Now, then I'm going to show you my game from last Saturday. And as I said, I'll turn it around because I was white. I was playing Jonah, who's a very good player. He plays a great deal of chess. He's playing chess at the moment, more or less full time at the moment, though. And I play very rarely. On the other hand, I did have white. I was very impressed by how he defended himself. Anyway, I'm going to show you this game. It's an interesting game. I played G3 to go into a Catalan, and he took it. And I'm sort of expecting bishop b7, actually. More those lines, which he's normally played in the past. And I didn't play bishop g2, knight c6. Though actually queen a4 leads to the main line, so I was perhaps being slightly... I don't know, maybe he'd have gone a6 or something first, who knows. So I went queen a4 check. And he didn't go knight c6, from which I guess you can deduce that he didn't intend to play that. This is he played knight bd7. There are 3 moves. There's knight c6, bishop g2. What else have I suggested? Queen c4, queen d5. You have to take, because if you go knight bd2, the knight b4 already gives black the advantage. So you end up taking, and you got absolutely nothing, you'd think, as white. Okay, that must have happened, I assume. I haven't actually looked. I mean, I think take a3, I assume. Yeah, take. Pawn takes a3. Yeah, and I mean black is absolutely fine here. Bishop g4. Good move. Knight bd2. Is even 94 possible here? 94 is quite interesting. I suppose, can you go e3 then? I suppose you can. a5 given here. h3 probably. Bishop g2. And if I ask an engine, it won't give white any advantage. It may say it's equal, but it won't say better than that. No, it says it's slightly better for black. 4 equals plus. Did I give an equals plus there? I have to check I put the right annotation on. Control A, SF for stockfish. Oh, sorry. I seem to have got quite a lot of rubbish there. Okay, so that doesn't work. So knight c6. The main line goes like this, by the way. Take, take. Now, if you go a3, they go b5, and they take your rook, and c5 is played. And God knows, it's supposed to be slightly better for white. There's again Kasparov-Adams, but you'd have to really be very, very confident about this to be okay. I don't really believe. I wouldn't ever play that. The other line, which I do know, but it's you have to remember it each time. You take and you castle. They go rook b8 and you go knight c3, a6, knight e5. Castles, and you have to take, and you have to take, and you lose a pawn. Queen c4 is one move. Maybe rook d1 is the other. And the game continues. What else is there? Maybe queen c2 must be a move, I guess, as well. You lose one pawn. Black has horrible pawns, but is a pawn up. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. If I take on c4 and they take on b2, then they have 7 and I have 6. Yes, that's right. And I've tried to make that ending work for white. Obviously, I've got a lot of compensation, and I think it's about equal or something. I did try to play it against the great and glorious engine to see how I did, and it was not easy at all to get anything, if you can. You'll be unsurprised to hear, really. I mean, why would you be able to? So, but that is a line. But he played knight bd7, and knight bd7, c6, queen takes pawn, with the knight on b8 and b5 is also a perfectly viable line. Take here, and I went queen c6. I didn't particularly believe this, but I had a game with Alex Baburin years ago where we did this, and we actually agreed a draw in this position. He castled. Castles... we got to castles and we agreed to draw, but knight c3 gives. I think actually Stockfish doesn't think this is very much. Here takes, rook c1, rook b6, and I believe that the engine doesn't particularly think this is anything very much. I just had an engine, didn't I? Sorry. My apologies, I've just lost my engine. Let me see. I think it says it thinks it's all right, actually. It's only given plus equals, which is quite surprising to me. But castles, rook c8. So, I mean, castles, let's play the obvious moves. Castles, rook c8. Rook c2, I guess there's bishop b4. So rook c3, maybe? It wants to go b4. Bishop f3, bishop f3, c5 also is okay, actually. Take here. And if rook to here, c4, b3, rook d6 is okay, yeah. But they can go, I mean, I haven't, rook d1 is a bit more, rook fd1 is slightly more scary because now, if I take and play c5, I'm going to get pinned, aren't I, because there's rook d7 check. If I can't do this now, here, take, take. I can't do that. So I have to play some other move, and f6 is given, or h6, or bishop d5, I suppose. Bishop d5, knight e5. Okay, that's all right. Take. Knight takes d7. King takes d7. King takes this. With my king on d7, this isn't very dangerous. It might be plus equals. Anyway, it's a way to play. But he went immediately. He went bishop b7, queen takes pawn, take. And here he made a mistake. He should play bishop b4 check first. You play knight bd2 and the game continues. I have analysed this. It's so complicated I've never really worked out what's going on. I may do so again, but I have nothing particularly to say to you at the moment. Bishop to there, check, knight to there, rook to c8. And I'm going to give you an unclear symbol. If you want to do the work with an engine, then you're very welcome, as am I. Sorry, compensation is the one I want, actually, isn't it? Compensation. That's a better symbol. I think, yeah, the engine, I think, gives it as basically equal eventually. But it's going to take... I know I did it once with Houdini, and I got some equal endings, and if I do it with Stockfish, which is better, then probably I'll get to different endings, or maybe something completely different. But that's what you should do. Rook c8 is a mistake, and I knew that, so I quickly played bishop a5. And he realised he'd got his move all wrong. So now he played rook checks and here, which threatens to go rook a4. I played b3 because I had to. And here he spent a very long time thinking about whether to play knight e4 check. I was a little concerned that he would do something like knight to there, pawn takes rook, pawn takes pawn, and that it would turn out that I was getting checkmated. But I decided knight e5 was fine, though I will show you a pretty line. e3 is very stupid, e4 is the right move, but I will show you this pretty line. Just to have for fun. Not fun for me, obviously, but fun for... Aesthetically speaking, this is rather fun. Anyway, he didn't do that. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't decided whether to go... I can go king d1 as well after knight e4 check. It's playable, but I wasn't particularly struck in it. But he, in fact, after a long think, he played bishop f3. He said he thought about pawn takes rook and rook c1, but I mean, I didn't even consider it really, because it just seemed, why would I bother to when this is clearly better for white? I thought he'd play knight e5, but I was coming around to the view that bishop b7 is a good move, and I think it is. He went e5, e3, rook back, knight c3, and I've got the two bishops in a lead in development. What more could you want from a Catalan? There's nothing you could want more. Bishop b7, a4. Now if he castles, I go bishop b4 and take. And of course he can fight. He can go something like e4, bishop b2, rook c8. And the game will undoubtedly continue, but I mean, he doesn't really have enough for a pawn, you'd think. I may have to defend quite well to play a few good moves to prove that, but I mean, yeah, I mean the engine agrees with this. So he played rook e6 at once, and I played rook d1, which is a good move. And here I played a move which is much too casual, rook c4. I think bishop b2 is a good move, actually. Too casual. Do I give bishop b2, knight c5, and now rook b4 is the engine's move, but the human's move is rook c4, knight b7, bishop b4, and a6 is a bit loose, and you're clearly better as white, though just how much isn't so clear. Probably you're going to win a pawn on a good day, I'd think. I'd expect to win a pawn, I think. But I went rook c4, and he played this excellent move e4 very quickly. Well done, Jonah. And suddenly he's got lots of counterplay. He goes knight g4, hitting f2. So I can go rook d2, knight takes pawn, but I wasn't particularly struck with it. He's going knight to f3 to e5 with tempo, and I can't go rook c4. Yeah, the thing is, if I go rooks to here, knight takes pawn, and I go rook c4, which I want to. New variation. Then after this, I can't go rook d7 because of knight e5, which is bloody irritating. I mean, maybe I can go knight d5 here and have a slight edge. So I thought time to play the principled move, and I played rook d7, knight takes pawn, knight d5, and I thought I had a decent initiative here. I thought I had good chances of winning a pawn, really. But he played something extremely clever. He played... No, he didn't, sorry. He could play something extremely clever. This is where... I'm not sure if my diagram in here... Is it this move? It is this move, I think, isn't it? Yes. What should you do? And the answer is you should play bishop f6. And after knight takes... Okay, I was thinking rook takes, bishop to here, rook to there. I didn't see rook c8, actually, it has to be said. This is clearly better for white anyway. Quite a lot better, I would say. You've got quite a lot of pressure on the position. Though, I mean, you can go... you're going to push a c-pawn. It's going to be dangerous for black. Whether it's winning or anything, who knows? But that's not really the point. The point is that you have a way to play. But actually, the engine wants to play g takes f6. And this is what I was referring to. Rook to there, takes, check, here, here. And basically, you're okay now as black. Your pieces are so good. You're actually going to win the e-pawn, I think. If bishop c5, I think you probably do take the e-pawn. And you get some ending. All of black's pieces are good. There's no passed b-pawn. It's all right. So it's just that g takes f6 is hard to see. At least it was for me. He went bishop g5, which is much less good. Rook c4 is a good move. Rook to there, bishop to there. So I'm threatening to go bishop d4. And he went bishop d8. And I did something really stupid. I played knight e7 check. I'd seen... This is the decision which shows how rusty I was. I'd seen this move. He should go knight f6 now. And it's not much fun. I can do this if I want to. This is pretty good. He has to go rook a8. He's very passive. That's not the end of the world, obviously. Pretty good rook ending. Does it want to do this? Do I not have something a bit better than this? I can go knight e7 check and get the same position, can't I? Or can I go bishop f... Actually, I'm not doing better than that, am I? So it isn't that great. But I thought bishop d4, I was looking at this. Bishop takes this, check here, takes, check here. Rook g8, and thinking, well, I probably can't go rook c6 and swap and race because he goes and takes my pawn so fast. Which I think is true, by the way. But you look at this position, and it really is pretty obvious. White is a pawn up. The black king is not in a great square. And white has excellent winning chances. Superb winning chances. And rejecting this is ridiculous. That shows that I was... And that is something... You don't have to be a silicon monster to realise that that's what you should do. So this is what happened. Good move. And I should have played king b2. Rook a7. King b2 was much more sensible. I mean, actually, because now he goes h4 takes, and I expected rook checks here, rook c8. And I was thinking maybe bishop takes knight now. But apparently that's a draw. I mean, I like having the rooks doubled on the 7th rank. But apparently this is a draw. It's not completely obvious to me. Obviously I was threatening to do stuff. And if I don't... I can go b4 actually is the best move apparently. Because he's threatened to go rook c to c2 and to mate me, which is not really what I... Maybe I can play bishop c3 then, but I'm really making... Of course, I've got rook g7 check still, so I suppose it is okay. But I don't like having my king so almost vulnerable. I seem to be making quite a big effort to get into trouble. And it would have been much, much more sensible just to play king to b2 to be ready to go to a3, as happened in the game. This is to stop f4. And he's got his rooks doubled, which is well done. He's defending a6. Now I went h3. I started to play properly again. That's a good move because it controls g4. It's a bit loose, but it's going to be hard work taking it. And I don't want him playing rook g4 check with my king goes to b4. I want to be able to, just from a practical point of view, even if it doesn't work, I don't like my king wandering around being checked too much. This happened. I think, no, he didn't play. And round about here I started to spend a lot of time because it's actually really quite a difficult position. You've got these lovely doubled rooks, but he's defended his pawn very ergonomically with the horse. And I've got this weak kingside pawns. So I think I played king b4, which makes a lot of sense. It probably is its number one move, is it? No, actually not. No, it's not. I thought it made a lot of sense. And he went rook g6. He can't play f4 yet, can he? If he goes rook e5, that's right. So, wait a minute. f4. I didn't know whether I should give check or play rook e5. In fact, it's better to play rook e5 at once. I was a little... Well, that's pretty clear. That's a pretty simple position. But I think I was looking at pawn takes pawn, but of course it's better to play rook g5. But I was a little worried that he'd have something where he went, I don't know, f3 and f2 or something and did something, and he managed to swindle me. But actually it doesn't work. Because if you go check here first, then knight f6 is possible. Whereas if you do f4, rook e5, here you're still on g7, so knight f6 isn't possible. I was trying to work that out when he didn't play rook f4, he played rook to there, king b4, rook to there. Now rook e5, that's to stop f4 for the moment. Rook f3, it doesn't like. King h7 was a better defence. It says... I mean, neither of us got it completely right. But what I'm trying to say is that within the bounds of playing a position, you have to have some idea of what is reasonable. And I think it was reasonable that we got this lot. I don't suppose rook c6 is a move now, is it? I think rook c6 something will happen. Can I go check? What does he... Just wondering about this. I don't think I can play e4, can I? I just go rook a5, do I? Yeah, in this position I can go rook a5. That was one of my threats, and now he's not really set up to do anything very much. So yeah, I didn't. That was one of the points of rook e5. But so you want rook king h7, rook rook a5, rook to there. This it says is equal. My rooks are out of position. My b pawn's not running. I should go rook f7, rook f6. I think, is that right? It's complicated. It's really complicated. I think rook f3 was a mistake. Now, what I wanted to do now, whatever, was to double the rooks in the 8th rank to make his rook move from g6. The problem at the moment is that he's got the square c6, and after about 15 minutes, I normally play within a minute or so, I played king c5, and the idea of that is to threaten to go check and double and leave his rook without his square. He went there, I went rook to the 8th, and now I went rook f8. If I double, I think he can go check. Yeah, if I now double, he can go check and rook c6. But maybe I can do this because rook to there, and now actually he's out of position, isn't he? Rook to there. I guess I'm getting control. but I didn't work that out. I went rook f8 to tie his rook down, rook to there, king to there. Here he made a mistake. He should have gone rook e4, because I can't go rook takes f5 because of rook d4 check, but I can double rooks, and I get a pretty good ending. I didn't realise I can just run away. There's this line, and now he has to... I'm threatening bishop takes knighty things, aren't I? Yeah, if he takes e2, I've got rook e7 check. King takes, so check. Here, e2. Rook e... How do I do this? Rook a6 check now. Of course, I can just go bishop h4 at the end. So that's nothing. But I was a bit concerned about this, actually. Sorry, I'm not being very... I was a little concerned that he'd go here, check, here, take, and this or something. Play this position. But, I mean, actually, after rook a1, I mean, it is winning. I've got a b-pawn. It just feels like he's got slightly organised. I suppose I have to go h6, his knight won't be stable. Okay, I was a little worried. But he went rook h6, and I got control. Doubles, check. So you've got to make a decision. You're a human being. You're an ancient codger like I am. I'm 67 now. I was getting tired. It was my first game for a long time. I had to make a decision. Do I want a rook ending, or do I want to analyse king e6? And I should analyse king e6, I suppose, if I was a fit young man, because actually that's pretty horrible. I mean, something like this is pretty easily winning. But, I don't know, putting your king in a discovered check, there's something felt a bit icky about it, and I just played bishop takes knight, because I was pretty sure the rook ending was very close to winning, and also, a practical point, I can play a rook ending like this basically more or less in my sleep, I would say. Whereas, you know, I'm rook endings. I mean, I may not get it completely right, but I am good at rook endings relative to what I can still do. I can still do these properly. So it seemed a practical thing to do, and he in fact blundered immediately. He only had 2 or 3 minutes left. He should have gone rook f3 is the most interesting move. b4 takes, rook to b3, or rook checks comes to the same thing. If rook f3, b5, king to there, then interestingly I can go king e5, because my king is close enough to the pawn. Because f4, because if check, of course I go here. And I just win. Quite surprising to me, but, well, I don't know, yeah, a little bit surprising. So he has to go, so he goes rook b3, king to there, rook to there, b5. If I could play h5, h6, of course I would, because that would be a very nice way to do things. Though I'm not sure that's so. King to there to get the king out from the pawn. Rook to there, f4, and now a good move. Rook b3, rook to there, and now this good move. And the point of this good move is it gives the king shelter in front of the rook, and suddenly the position's completely winning. Black has absolutely no chance. So I would have had to find something like that. And I think, I flatter myself I'd have decent chances. And if I'd drawn the game, I would just have said, congratulations, you defended very well. I wouldn't have been hugely upset. I'd have been quite cross with myself. But I wouldn't have thought it was a terrible thing, because it's my first game for a while, as we said. Take here, king d4, king, king. Of course, you can't play f4 because the b-pawn wins easily. So now it's trivial, because I've just got a b-pawn running. And amusingly, in this position, the great engine on another website, when it reaches this position, I play rook c3. It castigates me for playing an inferior move, because I'm merely winning a rook rather than playing rook b6 and queening my pawn. And that is the stupidity of engines. though we may genuflect to their power, sometimes they are utterly stupid, because rook c3 played in a microsecond is not a move that I regret. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been maybe even quite instructive. So basically, engines calculate better than us. But the thing we have to do, excuse me, is to take reasonable decisions, reasonable human decisions, and to get on with it. And you know, if we analyse with an engine, there'll always be improvements. But sometimes what they say is still stuff and nonsense, because all they're doing actually is optimising a numerical function. So today is the 19th, and in a fortnight it will be something like the 2nd, so it'll be the 33rd of November, which is the 2nd or the 19th is today. This is tomorrow, so it'll actually be November the 3rd, won't it? Of course it will, because I'm playing Blitz on the 2nd in the Euclid Blitz, which is a Saturday. Right, so I look forward to seeing you in a fortnight, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Now I'm going to do my usual check, and if this isn't turned on, there will be screaming, but you won't hear it. Good.